leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work. Y'all forget I am the leader.
Blessings, blessings. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. We have an improv live today. We're starting to do a few different things on the channel. We want to continue to have that grown conversation. Last night we had Miss Foxie Roxie, one of the residents of Dolton, come on and educate us about a few things. She has an intensive background in federal government policies and a lot of other things that she's going to present to you. But one of the things that what I wanted to do today is allow Miss Foxie Roxie to come on the platform and actually have this important conversation with, let me put the link down there, with us, okay? She felt like it was very important to, in this link I'm putting in it for Miss Foxie. So if you're in the audience, you know what to do. She felt like it was very important for us or an Dolton resident to understand what type of situation we're in from a federal level and a state level. And I was listening to her and I'm like, wait, let's just let you speak your piece on the platform so you guys can hear how a resident feel about the current situation, as well as how you guys are going to move forward in the future. Now, while I went on live just now, I did notice, and it's just so crazy, that one of the things she is going to address is the election. Miss Cassandra, she's going to finish to address that. And as I say, with these segments, I'm going to allow Dolton residents, Thornton residents, whoever, you know, we have those conversations with, to come up and have their moment where they're going to speak their piece. And we're going to keep it structured. We're going to keep it respectful. And none of this is going to be to bash anyone. It is to have these conversations. So I'm going to bring Miss Roxie on the screen real quick. And Miss Roxie, I just found the clip. So I want to show you the clip before we get the conversation going. But welcome. How are you, beautiful?
I am. Excuse me, everyone. I am fine. How are you, beautiful? How everyone? Those that come in later, I'm welcoming you now, and I will welcome you throughout the segment.
Yes, ma'am. Everybody, come on in. We know we're gonna have playbacks because this was something kind of improv, but this was a video just now. As I went to start this, Miss Cassandra put this 5-minute clip, and we're gonna watch it, and then we're gonna allow you to take the floor, and we're gonna get the conversation going. Okay.
All right. Okay.
This just caught me off guard too. I just found this, so we want to hear what she has to say because I know you're going to address that first, and then we're going to move into basically the transition of Dolton and how the federal administration is going to affect what's going on. So let's play this real quick.
Good morning, people. I'm coming on live because I want you guys to really get a true visual of what Dolton is becoming. So I'm labeling this as part 1, and we'll be going throughout the village, showing you how and what this village is becoming. So I want you guys to just take a close look at this house. This is the type of stuff that people have to walk by literally every day. So while these people sit in office and ask you to vote for them and put them back in position when they've been in position for years, this is the type of stuff that is happening. And this is what this village is becoming.
And I haven't watched this video. I literally, like I said, sometimes I just get things, and she just finished this live. So I'm gonna get your raw reaction, and then you're gonna get into it. Give it a few more minutes to see where this leads to.
Okay, I will check it out.
Yeah, just take a look at this. Now, who wants to come out of their house and walk and see this every day? And some of the residents that I have spoken with, they're like, we have called, we have filed reports, we have come up to the village, and yet there's nothing. But this is what they have to walk out of their house and see every day. And I'm starting to see more and more properties in Dolton look like this. So while people sitting around pining for seats that have actually been in seats, why are we not trying to do something about this? Who wants to live in a village where your taxes have gone up to literally $12,000 a year? And this is the type of stuff that we're paying for in this village. But yet, they want us to keep them in the seats. And then look at the sign. We come and put a sign in front of the house, and we know that the house is jacked up. Look at that. Look at the sign we put in front of the house. But yet we ignore the conditions of the house. Yet we ignore the conditions of the block. So this is part one of what Dolton is becoming. There's more to come. So the people need to see the real truth of what is becoming of this village. If you guys don't stop recycling these politicians, because a lot of these people, it's not even about upgrading the village. It's about keeping a paycheck. Because look at this. This is ridiculous.
I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit, yeah.
So why should people have to walk out their house and walk down the street? And this is the type of stuff they see.
All right. So this is a 5-minute clip. I'm just seeing it raw, just like you. So I know that you had wanted to continue a conversation from yesterday, and I'm going to give you the floor. Thank you. Welcome, Miss Roxie, a resident of Dolton. And I think these some of the things you see.
I'm not a resident of Dolton, but they adopted me as a resident of Dolton.
Oh,
I'm actually from Washington, D.C. That's okay, but I feel like I'm part of Dolton because I'm a very outgoing, caring person. Even if it was where you live at, I would be all in with you too, because I understand the hardships and how things go.
No problem.
I live in Washington, D.C. We see houses like that all the time in Washington, D.C. too.
Okay, no, we both distant residents. I just thought that you were a resident of Dolton, so I do retract that statement. So, okay, again, so we gotta know what perspective we're coming in. So we're coming from the outside, y'all. I do apologize. I did thought that she was a Dolton resident, but I do like Miss Foxie Roxie, her expertise. And if you can explain that to them again, your service and everything.
Okay, she's showing our house. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Foxie Roxie. That's my handle on here. I've been a employee for the federal government for 35 years. And the 35 years of my federal government was always in security in regards to countries, counties, states, everything. When it comes to security in the federal government, I know it all inside and out. When I got 10 years of that 35 years, which was the last 10 years of my being in the federal government, I dealt with the higher officers, which is what we're dealing with now in the administration. The reason I want to come on here is not so much as right now, the lot of the security of this country will affect us eventually. A lot of people say, well, the overseas ain't got, yes, it does. It has a lot to do with us. Because if we no longer part of the third war, we will be the third war, which would affect us as far as our finances here in the United States, as far as like Dolton and the township. Right now, the fundings that are...
Go ahead. I was going to say, could you emphasize how that will kind of affect possibly towns that we are in, like Dolton and your area? Okay.
The reason why there are programs, there are grants, there are things that are available for townships and villages and towns and cities that will help to fund them if they get into a situation, which is called the emergency funding.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is, if they feel that you have proven that you are in an emergency situation, they can fund you to get you out. You may have to pay it back, but it can help you to get out of the hole momentarily. Just like anything else, if you go and apply for food stamps, you apply for welfare. It's only temporary to get you out, to get you to where you need to be. And that's the way the states are set up through federal funding.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'm worried about with the administration we have now, with them cutting out a lot of the funding, the grants and everything, it affects us where we won't have that emergency help. So what I want the trustees to do in Dolton and in the township, but I think the township are pretty settled from what I did my investigation into their finances. They are pretty okay. They're not so bad, but Dolton is in a very bad situation. So right now, if I was the trustees, I would start getting the paperwork together today. I mean, actually today. Get together on Monday when you have your meeting. Get together and figure out how you can go ahead and find out about that emergency funding to help you, even if it's just a loan, to get yourself out of that predicament so you can move forward to do what you need to do to get your town, your village back in order.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of work.
Hold on, before you move on, because I want to kind of talk about something like that. What you're saying is something similar to actually what Cassandra said, that the feds could come in and help. And I know she didn't say it the same way, but with that, it is like rules and regulations that they will have to follow when it comes to the money, and they possibly have to pay that back. But at the end of the day, I think that's kind of the same thing that she mentioned before, that the reality of the debt has to be really considered and put out there because it's deeper than what people think. And you're saying the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I want us to have these conversations, because it is pretty real. It's not about Cassandra, it's not about house, but we're talking about the situation. So if the feds come in there, I think that's probably what it's looking like, because they're still examining Dolton and Thornton. But I remember you branching.
The feds not coming in. The feds are not coming into Dolton. The feds will come into the state.
Oh my
the
God!
The state will bring the money to. You can get the money from the state because they're getting it from the feds.
Exactly. And that's called separation of powers. And I explained that to people on other broadcasts, where basically the United States, each state has an agreement with the federal government. We pay our taxes and they give certain fundings to help different areas to kind of, give them extra money when they don't make it within their community. That's why it's important to have that federal bridge and state bridge. That's why we let it. So I'm kind of just clarifying that for people so we could bring that together, because what you're saying is basically we got to look at what's going on with the federal level, because even whoever we get going right now, funding may be in trouble as well.
Right. And say, I understand everybody, the Democrat, the federal, the Republicans, the independents. Okay, I got that. Y'all got y'all division. Okay. But right now, we're looking at the infrastructure of the village. And right now, they need you. Okay, you want to talk about the housing, but first we have to deal with the budget. We can't worry about the houses being the way they are right now. We have to worry about the budget. Once you get a positive budget, then you can worry about the infrastructure. Because then you can go to the federal.
The budget will entail details about infrastructure, because if you have plans to fix, that is entailed in a true budget. But we have to know what they're sitting on. So that's something that the current people have to, we didn't get all of that through the Lori Lightfoot. And that's what was kind of disappointing, because people know in their heart that it's kind of worse than what we've been presented.
Right. And see, the thing is, with them not knowing for so long before they finally got information, and they even showed in memos that they were blocked out from it. My thing is, I'm not, Cassandra has great ideas, but the problem is you haven't been to no meetings. You haven't sat down and looked at anything. You're telling us what's going bad about the village. But what substance have you brought to us to show us this is when, once I become mayor, you talk about I got a business, this business gonna come in. If I don't become mayor, I'm not gonna bring the business in. Okay, you said this is your okay. Me, I'm Cheryl. This my name is Cheryl with the S. Okay, me myself, if I was running for mayor and I got a company that's interested in coming to Dolton, this is the ideal time to bring them and help them to say, look, they're in a bind right now, but this will help our town, our village, to get partly out of the hole. We can start bringing.
I'm sorry,
but if you sit back and tell them don't come because we in a hole, that ain't helping us any.
I'm gonna play devil advocate because I'm not just a worker. I'm a business owner, and I have stated this. Me as a business owner, I'll be very leery to come into Dolton with all of this chaos and knowing that things are still, need to be fixed, and it's still a level of corruption. So also,
but that's the time that your company, that's you and come in and sit down with them and bring your proposal. See, we can't sit back and you.
Hold on. Just one more thing. The level of corruption is unknown. So that's one. But as a politician, the politician, that's lobbying. And lobbying goes with the people they support. So that's kind of typical. It's hard to hear it and it hurt. But that is typical how politicians talk. You see what I'm saying?
And I understand what you're saying. And it is how politicians talk.
I ain't bringing this up. I'm gonna bring this company with me. This person, this contract. So it is. This is the political talk that's going on.
But this is the time. But this is the time that okay, the company say, look, I want to come, but right now I don't know what's going on. Give them the opportunity to present themselves instead. Okay, that like I said, you got a company. Okay, if I don't talk to you, how am I know what you can bring?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to if you're going to really benefit my village. Are you going to come in there? Okay, I'll give you a prime example. The opioid crisis. They brought him gave them proposal, brought him in there. They thought they were going to bring something to help them. It destroyed them and had so many people addicted to it.
Who is they?
So you got to look at, they have a lot of people that was addicted they got people that was in Kentucky, Tennessee, and West Virginia. They brought in the opium pharmaceutical companies to build their factories there. Because of factories, with factories, they had to get rid of the water or the excess stuff which was in the soil. A lot of those 3 states still don't have good water, the water system. So a lot of that went into the soil, which a lot of people were still on well water. And a lot of people got sick from that.
Yep. And
but that they thought they
hold on. What
so I'm saying is
right. You're right. That's why I was scary about this company that they're trying to bring a Dolton or propose that semiconductor, not only the funds that are bringing possibly the toxins. So too, that is true. If it is businesses that need the petition to the county, that it needs to be presented to the people, like you said. But I think when she said that, as far as Miss Cassandra, she just do something out like I got support and I could bring something. But the delivery was kind of, like we talked about. But what you're saying is 100% right. The businesses do need to come.
And if a business is sitting back and not coming because she's telling them not to, I have a problem with that business off the top.
Well,
are you coming in to help the people? Or are you coming in because of her? I might have a business, but I'm going to talk to the trustees, see if they is interested because it affects their village.
Well,
and I want to see where their head is before I bring them. If I'm not talking to them to see where their head is, okay, then I can make that decision. But if I'm just going by because I'm looking at you and you don't look like, or because of the past, okay, sit down with them now. Okay, we got a new infrastructure. Let's sit down with them because right now you don't have a slate. You don't have one trustee. You're going to have to work with the rest of the trustees. You haven't talked to nobody to even have anybody else to back you as a mayor. You haven't done anything to show any business sense. You have businesses of your own, private businesses, But when it comes to, there's a difference between private industry and government issue. Okay, I dealt with the federal, which is a higher than everybody else. So we on a different level of laws. Then you got the local, you got the.
It's a different sector. It's not higher. It's a different sector. Because what you're seeing that the states will break off from federal, and the states can take it to court. It's called separation of powers. I just want to explain that to people because every role is important. You see what I'm saying? Because the state has their own power, feds do too. It's just separation of power. But go ahead, I'm listening. I just want them to understand.
Okay, with the federal government, we have certain laws that govern the world and the country. The state have just their state laws. Then you have your county laws. Then you have your city laws, your villages laws, your town laws. Everybody, some have bylaws, some have ordinance, some have laws, some have different things. So what the federal government base off may not be what the township or the county or the village base off their laws. It affects them to a certain degree.
That's the problem. That's where we as the people to fight, because it's supposed to be. All laws are supposed to be basically synchronized from the
across the board.
Exactly. The Constitution sets the standard, general standard. Then the feds set just basic guidelines. And then when it comes to that will work for everybody. When it comes to each state, they get specified state laws and codes and community codes that fits their particular sector. But don't never think that it's not supposed to meet the Constitution, because that's where all roads leads to. And you see what I'm saying? That's where people are going to be fighting Trump on. And I know you're going to talk about that later. But go ahead. I'm going to let you finish.
But the thing is, my thing is right now. Now, it helped me to understand. Illinois is Democrat, and the state of Illinois is Democrat. Am I correct?
Primary, yes. The base is Democrat.
Okay, right now, believe it or not, Illinois is safe to a certain degree. Safe to a certain degree from a lot of this monarchy of the federal government.
Why you?
Let me tell you why. Okay. Mexico and Canada both have said that they're not going to trade or do any help. Okay, right now, Illinois is right connected to Canada, right there in Canada. A lot of your electricity in the state of Illinois is coming from Canada.
What? Let me go look at the map. I don't know the map. Don't put my butt. Hold up. I went to Illinois and didn't know right there by Canada. Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead, finish. I'm about to look at it. I'm not drinking.
So you got to think about it. It's only a body of water to separate Illinois, Indiana, Ohio from Canada. And that's the Michigan water. You got to think about it. Those lakes are the only division between you all and Canada.
Hold on. Where is it? Go ahead. Okay.
And electricity.
So what are you getting at? Now I see geographically. I could put
because of Donald Trump's tariffs, they have put out an order. The president of Canada has put out an order, them and Mexico, that they're only going to deal with the blue states and not the red states.
What do you mean? Because that's not even going to be virtually possible, because they still have to. What does that mean? Because I didn't hear that. How would they?
Okay. They can do that because what they do, they have a list. They have given to Canada have a list of all the states in the United States because of the deals they have been dealing with the United States. So they know who is ran by a Republican governor and who is ran by a Democrat governor. And because of the Republican governor, because of the threat from Donald Trump from being a Republican, they are targeting his states.
Okay. So look, this is what I was thinking. As far as distribution and things coming from Canada, they come past some type of borderline. And I'm thinking that the tariffs and things like that, the taxes on what they're bringing over is going to be pre-tax. So regardless, they're going to get that tax, and all of us got to suffer, because they can't get through the border and just go to Illinois. That's just not how distribution
Wait a minute,
works.
Let me explain something to you. Mm-hmm. You
See that?
okay? Let me explain something to you. Okay, the state. Okay, we've been going back and forth across the border for the longest with Canada, with trade. The oil we need for our factories.
Yeah.
Those like Detroit, the factories that have to have a special oil we don't make. Their land has that kind of oil. We don't
Mhm.
make that oil. The
Exactly.
batteries for the electric cars that people are purchasing, they make those. The stuff that they need to make those batteries comes from Canada. Okay, a lot of the steel, the metal comes from Canada.
Exactly.
If
And I
they
agree
don't
with
get
you. I just don't what I don't I gotta be, kind of like the devil advocate or whatever they call it. I don't think that they can split the red states and the blue states because they have to be taxed
yes,
as
they
they
can because
but how?
no, no, no,
That's
no, no, no. Because
how.
see, you got to understand. See, it's the infrastructure of the government. They have that power right now. They could cut us off from everything, and there's nothing we could do because they own their own country. Canada is its own country.
But Trump is
Mexico is
causing
its own country.
you see what I'm saying? Trump is
Trump
causing the
haven't
tariff.
done none of that.
So we
He
will have to
still
implement the tariffs. He's not going to allow people from the distribution to come from Canada and just go to blue states. Like he's going to send guards and do things. So that's maybe one thing that I don't know. Like we got to kind of go into. But honestly,
no. He can't send it. He can't. He can send it right now. He don't have. He don't have the people. Everybody failed to realize all these people getting fired. Part of those people that guard the border are gone. He's only worried about Mexico.
he ain't right
He
paying
only
attention.
worried about he only worried about Canada for the fentanyl. Which they have nothing to do with fentanyl.
I think that was just a political ploy just to cause some trouble. But this is what I want us to get back to. Now, regardless of
But
okay,
because of that, okay, because of because the electricity and stuff affects you all. That affects your electricity bill. That is
what
affects your water bill
what
because your
affects
water helps supply the electricity. You got to understand the water affects your electricity.
mhm.
If your electricity bill is high, that's because your water bill going to be high. Till you get your
I
electric
never
bill down,
too. I never had that happen to me. So you got to explain it to me. I never had my water bill went up for them daggone leaks. But this is what I wanted to say.
because
How
see, oh, I forgot that you're not in Illinois. The people in Illinois, their electric bill, their electric is coming from Canada.
okay.
You and me on the East Coast, we don't
Mhm.
have that problem because we got the water right by us. See,
Okay, so
their water is the lake, and
you
the lakes
basically
are one side of the lakes is United States, the other side of the lakes are Canada.
okay, so basically you're saying they're gonna have regardless based on some of the things that's distributed from Canada. That's how I want to get back to what we were talking about because we got to bring it back.
And but see that affects
Hold
because
on,
now the
wait.
state gonna have to
Let me ask you a question.
regroup on how they're gonna send their funding out now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wait, I want to bring it back. I need to bring it back so we can stay on this subject so the audience could kind of bridge two together. When we talk about on a federal level, if it comes to the point because he's blocking a lot of federal funding, and I know you say he can't do it, but it's happening until people take him to court. How would that affect Dolton going into a new administration and their debt? You see what I'm saying? Because there is some expectation that federal funding will come and help the situation. But you see what I'm saying? That's where I
Well,
wanted
see,
to.
it's not. That's the thing. Right now is the best time for them to apply for it
Okay,
before it gets to, because he's doing it little by little and make very fast. So
exactly.
if that funding is available, they need to apply now. They don't need to wait till after she's no longer no longer in office. Go ahead and do it like y'all been doing your meetings, but go ahead and apply for that now. Because
Oh,
if you do not apply for it now, and he has the chance to get over there, because right now the governor of Illinois is fighting him back, but only he can only go for so long before
mm,
Trump is going to try to override that. to a point and say, oh, like he threatened with the governor in Maine. He's going to come at him. If he comes at him the way he wants to come at him, he can destroy a lot of infrastructure for a lot of cities, but mostly the smaller towns. The villages, he can destroy them. The bigger cities, they got a little more leverage because they got a little more money to wiggle with. But someone like Dolton, who's in a deficit, it's going to hurt them more because now they don't have that help. So they're going to have to crawl. That means a lot of the programs that Dolton want to do for the the village, they're not going to be able to because they don't have the funding. Exactly. And everybody's like, okay, the taxes are going up. The taxes are going up because they're in the deficit. Okay, say, for example, it's true that they did have a deficit before she got in there. But it's worse than it was then. From what I looked at my records and where it is now, it's worse. So how you can sit back and still look at her for making that deficit even higher?
Who? Look at who? Because
so now,
look at who first. Look at who?
Tiffany.
Okay, but then wait, this is two. We got to take this in consideration. The tax laws is set by the governor in the state level, and allegedly, and I have to go verify this. What Tiffany is saying in her video is a 4.3% that goes up annually, no matter what, in relation to state
right,
laws.
And that's going to go up in any state.
That's where people. We have to know what's going on the state level and those representatives that's allowing those laws to trickle. Because you got the 4.3 that's coming because I saw it going up in her video, but it wasn't as much. But then if you got a greedy politician, they're going to add more onto the tax levy. So we do got to clarify that a good portion of the increase of the tax levies is coming from a state law. So we have to look at.
And see, everybody wants to vote for the federal level. But you have to also look at your township, your village. You got to look at your towns, your townships, your villages. You got to vote for the right people for that, and you got to do your research. You can't go by and like I said, I'm not bashing her, but you can't go by. Oh, I tell you my plans when I get in there. That's not helping us. We need to know what you're going to do to make sure you are a good candidate for us.
Exactly.
And you haven't told us anything. You haven't told us your knowledge, what you plan on doing. Are you planning on going to get, the grants? Have you haven't told us anything. Then you're saying, I don't want to tell you because you might steal it. Right now, anything can help, stealing or not. If you, come on, man, you're going to hold us hostage.
Y'all be trying to ignore stuff. Y'all hear everything. I'm crackling in the background. I agree with you 100%, Ms. Roxie. I think any candidate.
So you're going to hold us hostage.
Not just her, everybody.
What your plan is, and say, come on and vote for me. Really? What world you in?
All right, so
even the president and the vice president, even though she lost, but she still let you know what her plans were.
Exactly.
The vice president of the United States now told us what his plans were. Everybody done told us what their plans is. And you sitting back telling me, I ain't going to tell you till I get in there because you might steal it? Really?
Exactly.
What world are you in, boo-boo?
Can I?
That's the thing I'm saying. It's not so much of the putting people down. My thing is, what is you going to do that's going to make me want to say, maybe she got a point. I didn't see that. But you haven't told me nothing.
Also, let's pull it off of just because it's not going to be just a candidate bashing because we don't go into house. We ain't going into nobody else. I'm being honest. I'm not going to let it be no candidate bashing. This is about higher talking. I understand we got that point across. We need a plan. But what if these politicians don't really have a plan? That's when I say that people who have the education and have the know-how have to go in that position, bring forth the plans too. We can't say, what's your plan? What's your plan for us? That's why I want us to know what's going on, look at the economy, look at what's going on socially and say, hey, all right, I'm not going to just depend on these politicians because anything can go. What do you think the residents of Dolton can do to move forward and push the ball forward? That's where I kind of want to bring this conversation to as well, because I don't depend on the system. I can't just do that. I can't just keep You know what I'm saying? So what do you think will be good for the residents to do to try to move things?
Also, right now, it's a good idea if you have any jobs available. Okay. I think right now you have a lot of federal employees that have lost their jobs at this moment. They're looking for jobs. But in the meantime, tap into some of them federal employees that may be in your area that can help you with budget, infrastructure. Maybe know some, they might know some programs that can help you too along the way to get more finances in. Check with a finance advisor from the government, federal government, or what they can use to circumvent all of this so they won't be affected so much from what's going on with the federal government.
Exactly.
But you got to tap into all of that.
I know what I was trying to get into is some of the ideas like with Nate. What could the community do? If it comes to a food shortage and the eggs are so high and what could we actually implement in that community to bring, like, for instance, the houses. I'm from Newark, so we were very, very about doing things ourselves too. So if it was houses, like I said, that was messed up, it's a street team that's going every other weekend cleaning the house, and it's a community-based thing. Now, if we did a program that was continuously working and we needed funding, then we would go to wherever we go to, like our state representative, or in Newark, our county representative, see can we get funding to move it forward because it's been successful. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, the less dependency on the system and what we could do. Those houses disgusting. There's crime, like crime watchers. So, those type of things, because when, like I said, when the lights go off and the feds, everybody go home to their family, we have to have the means to make stuff happen. So that, you see what I'm saying? That's why I was kind of pushing it towards, because the candidate like Nate, he does that. He intertwined the community into his plan. And I like that.
Okay. And also he can intertwine the community. But Nate, because of him having connection with Frank, he knows some of the upper levels. He can tap into them and find out what is available for him to help get started to kind of bring the township available things to help them. Now, I'm not saying that, like with Tiffany, make it they're dependent on it, but help them to get back on their feet, like job ideas, for the youth. The youth is your future. You right now you got your crime rate because you have nothing for the youth to do.
Exactly. So us as the community,
there's no job really for the youth because the jobs are gone. So right now, bring back McDonald's. Talk to the people that run McDonald's. See if everybody want to buy a McDonald's and build it. Use one of the buildings to start their own McDonald's company, corporation. They own business. Make them entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because that's franchising. Or let the mom and pops that was there that lost their business, you cultivate their ideas for real with education, funding, education on funding, where to get it from, and infrastructure. I think that, I think we really have to do that. The community in Dolton and Thornton has a lot of amazing, smart people. And that's why I really push for the conversation to be open, even if you don't like what people are saying or doing. Sometimes it's ideas and concepts that could come out, to push the community forward without depending on the system, because the system is actually, it's going to collapse. Before even all of this was happening, Social Security is to the point that it was at a buck. You see what I'm saying? They said about time my son get to there, it was going to be no more money because the working force was lowering so much, which directly reflect our education system. And who should be responsible for our kids' education? It is us. I know. And I know it's supposed to be coming from the feds in the state, but look what is happening. So I think I'm trying to build a normacy of least dependency as well with our conversations.
Okay, and that is a great idea. That is a great idea. Just like, let me give you an example. They say there's a lot of seniors in their village, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start a home care agency.
Yes, exactly. Start
a home care agency. Go to the state, do what you need to do your research on a home care agency. Put a couple of them there because you got quite a size, life-size village. Get two home care agencies. Two different people start a home care agency. Okay. Now, those that that can't afford to put their families in these nursing homes or these seniors homes, have a home care aide to come out and take care of them. You got PCAs, that's personal care aides. They get paid. You got CNA one, they get paid. CNA two, then you got three. It's four levels of CNAs. You got the PCAs who privately, all they do is go in and make sure their house is clean, make sure they have food, and they go on home. Okay. The second one comes in, check their blood pressure, make sure they eat right, make sure they have taken their medicine, watch them, make sure they take their medicine, make sure they don't fall. They go home. Then you got the CNA two. They come in, they take the blood pressure. They might prick their fingers to see if their sugar low. You know, that's a CNA two. A CNA three is almost equivalent to a nurse's aide. I mean, a nurse. They come in, they administer shots, they administer things for them medically within the home.
Okay, so
So
basically,
you get
what I
these.
saying, hold on, I just want to kind of bring this to a together for the resident family too. What I hear her saying is that businesses need to be brought to the towns and all our towns from what we can bring and cultivate it ourselves, one as well, and what's directly needed for the community. The resources they do need have more hospitals, they need the home care, they need food, they need food services, they need daycares. So that's why what you're saying is so important.
Before care and after care for kids for school.
Yep, that put the power back into our hands because even me as a business owner, they have programs out here, federal programs that you could get funding from. So you learn to navigate, and that's where we try to do bridge the politics and the alleged leaders and the common person, us, so we can get a grip. Because once we create the programs, now we have the funding, we have the connections, and we can work as a community to shape the regulations. But we can't do that if none of us are stepping up and waiting for the government to come save us or this politician to come up with just one, a plan. You see what I'm saying? So I do like that idea. And what you showed that is different education levels that could be brought into that. So we really got to be creative. I think Dolton, Thornton, and a lot of other towns and cities got to be creative because I don't think we're going to be able to depend on our system too long. And I concede on that note right there.
And right. And what I want them to do is go ahead. Okay, I understand that, the final election, he's not mayor, but he's pro tem. But let him right now while he's pro tem, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Get this started. So the towns, right, because the village can see now, okay, we moving forward. Just not that you're elected, okay, they start getting, and I know you've been doing it all a while, but you're going to have to do it a little more faster than normal. And the reason why I say they got to do it a little more faster, because the federal government is not slowing down. They're going 100 miles an hour.
Yep. It's true, right?
And for you to keep up with them, you're going to have to go a little faster too. And right now you're kind of moving a little slow, like a little turtle, but I need you to move a little faster. I need you to be a fox or a greyhound and move a little faster.
On that note, I do have to be double-edged swords because what's slowed them down, their actual position to be able to get things done in all these damn court cases. Waiting for judges' decisions.
Right.
So I think things are moving back faster now that he could play mayor per temp. And as you say, since you have this power, for a while, push through. So I gotta say that, it was hard watching all those damn court cases and Tiffany fight. It was ridiculous. Right.
And I got that. Don't get me wrong. I got that. But now that has the the first election has already passed. Now let's move forward fast as you can before April comes.
Yep.
And then when April comes, deal with that. But in the meantime, deal with this. Don't worry about her because she ain't even got started doing nothing. This is the March and this April next month, and you haven't got anything started. So that's here and there. Let's go ahead and deal with what we got to deal with this in front of us that this village need right now.
Exactly.
Don't worry about the he say. Don't worry about the videos. Don't worry about what somebody over here, Susie Q, saying. Don't worry about that. Irrelevant. Right now, we need to get down to business.
Exactly.
And
And
right
that's
now, the biggest thing that they need to do is get started. Get in contact with your congressman. Get in contact with your government. Find out what programs they have that will assist you in an emergency situation as this. Apply for it now. Get it
exactly.
done as soon as possible before they have a chance to cut it off where you don't have it available.
And also
And
get the
right now,
people.
your governor is fighting for y'all to keep that money, to keep what you have, to keep just like Maryland, their governor is fighting too. He's fighting against them too. Both of them are Democrats. They're fighting to keep the funding because a few other red states, the Republican states, are hurting. They don't took their funding.
Don't worry, everybody's gonna be human, and it ain't even gonna be a Democrat and Republic by the end of this. Like you said, I told people years ago, this shit is in the same path of a third world country. So when I heard you say it, I was like, yo, we kind of seeing what's going on. But when it gets there, what are the people gonna do? And that's kind of
Well, see, the thing is,
so we're gonna conclude.
there's a lot of
Go ahead.
it's a lot of stuff that the other countries that everybody's like, well, why are we giving them money? What? Okay, first of all, Ukraine got a lot of stuff that we need for the United States to keep us going as far as a lot of our infrastructure. You know, then that minerals in that country. That's why he's coming at them so hard. He wants that mineral, so he thinks he can make a deal with Putin to get that mineral. No. That's like going out here making a deal with a rattlesnake.
And that's why too, I do want to highlight that I have books. I have a auto book series that I'm going to be doing about history. I do think we need to learn a little bit more about history too. There is more to this situation, and it's biblical. It is about land being division and stolen. And right now, we're just the pawns in the middle of this nonsense. So I don't really get into like what just the.
But the problem I have with what's going on is, we here in the United States, are affected by what happens overseas because United States, we have been comfortable for so many years, not knowing that a lot of our stuff that we got here in the United States came from overseas. If you look at your refrigerators, your microwave, your cars, your stoves, your food, a lot of stuff is coming from overseas. Right now, if Mexico say, I'm not sending y'all nothing else, do you know how much we're going to hurt as far as our produce?
Oh, yeah. And that's what we went over last week when we talked about the goods that came from Mexico, Canada, China. We will be crippled if they all just stop the trade because we don't produce a lot. We only produce probably like close to 35 to 38% of some of the products that we need.
That's right.
So
and that's the reason why I got into the federal government and security, because I wanted to know. Okay, let me give everybody an example. Everybody here on the live, or those that come in at the later review, think about it. Everybody got a family member, 2 or 3 family members. Do you know that they shady as all shady can be? They bad news. You don't want nobody even know they even in your family. But on the outside, looking in, me and you looking at them, they the best of family. They're the prettiest family. They have a cookout. They have a get-together. Everybody's laughing, having a good time. But everybody in the family knows, let me hide my purse. Let me put this here. Let me put that there, because here comes Susie Q. Here come Uncle so-and-so. Here come Auntie so-and-so. You don't see it, but they know. That's the same with the federal government. We on the outside see what the federal government doing, but if you be on the inside, and if y'all really knew what the federal government, really goes on there in depth with the federal government, it will blow everybody's mind and it will panic everybody.
I heard
but
some
right now, I
was a federal agent, so I know exactly what you say. You're not lying.
And see, me being in security, in the depth of the security, and seeing the different situations. Right now, everybody keeps saying, oh, this ain't this. No, I'm not making you panic, but I'm making you wiser and think.
Thank you. And think. Thank you. That's what we're here for.
And exactly. No, we're not here to make you panic. We're not here to make you scared. We're here to educate you. I'm not about to be a Tiffany, but I'm trying to get you to understand. Think a little harder on your situation because, see, like you said, trickle down. Now with the current, the current federal administration right now, each agency in the federal government operates a certain way to cover us to make sure that we are covered or we are protected. If they are dismantled, that's just like in your family. A lot of family members out here have lost their monarchs, the head of the family. Once that person is that's no longer here, what happens? The family split up and the family start breaking apart. That's the same with the infrastructure of the federal agency.
Of America.
If it's not, that's just a example. If the agencies are broken apart, then you have no structure. No structure means there's no structure for us. That means we got to figure out what we're going to do as the next step, because a lot of us have been comfortable because there's always been there for us to figure out where we're going to go the next. Okay, the electricity bill go up, or the water bill go up, or this. We just going to have to rebudget our money, rebudget our bills. But when you now have no job to budget anything, what you going to do? Exactly. You have no job now. So now you don't have no job, you don't have no grants, you don't have no funding, you don't have nothing to back you up with. Now, people that have 401ks, a lot of their 401ks are cut off now. All those that had, pensions are gone. Their pensions, they're no longer eligible for their pension. These are a lot of structures that have damaged a lot of people that have worked in the federal government. Their federal government money has helped to keep us that's not working in the federal government going. That's how the people are getting grants for programs, jobs here in the local district. Right now, Dolton and the township can get grants to get people to get on their feet, get jobs in the town, into the area. But if the government ain't working and they're not supplying the state can't supply you. You can't supply your family. That's how it affects.
And the state is supplemental money. So definitely we need to understand that supplemental money really even the playing field for different areas, because the income status of different areas are different. So this is why two things we take from this, because we're going to start to wrap this up. If anybody got anything from this conversation, one, that possibly Dolton, the trustees, and the front mayor right now, and anyone who's coming in need to move fast when it comes to applying for federal grants or federal things, because they're dismantling things one thing at a time, which they are taking to court, because all things lead to Supreme Court. What I was trying to explain to you, the separation of powers. Don't think, don't pay attention to the federal level and the state level. We just going to pay attention to what's going on in our town, because as we mentioned, Tiffany was not lying about the 4-point-something% every year. It did go up little by little, but if you have a rogue politician that's backed by a company who lobbied them and say, hey, give me this gift, do this or whatever, and then be like, okay, you could just levy the people more money on their taxes, this is when it falls back on you. So one thing, go fast for the federal funding if you can, Dolton, elected officials. The second most important thing in this conversation is that you got to create the programs yourself as well, people. We can't just depend on the subsidies that come, because like the ideas, as I stated, that Nate had with growing some food. What happens when things go too damn high, or if distribution slows down to the point that it did during the COVID? I'm saying that word. You see what I'm saying? Where everything was at a freeze because of this type of tariff and all the the structure of our economy, our social and political tone. So two things.
And also you got to get a farming. Find out who has a farm that has vegetables that you can bring their market and set up a booth for people to get fresh vegetables in case we don't get the vegetables from Mexico and Canada and wherever else we get vegetables from. Some of the states in Florida, Texas, California, they don't have farmers, people out there to pick their garden. Pick the fields. So, okay, now we need to come to the farmers that you have that's local, that has these produce. Go to them, have them make a deal with them, and have them sit there and basically both of you work, both of you making money. You're getting the product, they're making the money. That's getting them to be able to still provide for their family, and you still have the products to provide for your family. You got to think on the local level of what you need to do as a local instead of everybody's like, oh, the money, money, money. Okay, I got your money. I got that. You need the money. But in the meantime, let's work on what we can work on.
Focus. What if everything shut down? And what I just want to highlight this monumental moment since we get off because Black History Month is over. But Black Wall Street actually rebuilt itself after the first destruction. But they rebuilt themselves, cut off from the government funds and everything, and they had to make partnership with allies that brung in equipment so they could rebuild Black Wall Street. If you don't know, it was a second part of the Black Wall Street, and how that got shut down is because of eminent domain, and they put actual road through that. So law, they may have not had the right people to fight the law, and so there's a lot of aspects to this. And if they can build themselves up without having to depend on the government, that was the main purpose of that story. You can do it too. So I just don't put all the pressure.
Look at South Africa. Look at South Africa. They made a contract to get the tractors. Okay, they got tractors. They got 150 tractors over there. They got the biggest field of wheat, the biggest field of rice. They told them, okay, take your US aid. You know, we don't need it. And they showed the farm. They got people out there working. They're making their own food now. They don't need our US aid. It was temporary, but they're happy now. They don't have to have that threat hovering over them. Right now, this is the same thing with Dolton and the township. Let's come together. All those townships need to come together and have a powwow meeting. Not separately, just a little bit of here and a little bit there. All those townships need to come together and have a big old township powwow on what they can do. All the leaders of each township need to come together and sit down together.
Exactly.
You know, all the leaders of the township need to come and sit down together. Not the people, the leaders of each township. Come there and sit down, mayor, governor, whatever you are, whatever your title is, sit down together and work this out. Because right now, you're going to need it. Because if it does collapse with the economy for the federal government, all these states in the United States are going to be affected. Republican, Democrat, don't matter. They're all going to be affected. If they are affected, did y'all do your research on how y'all going to bounce above that? Exactly. Did y'all sit down and discuss how, okay, right now, if they shut everything down, what you going to do? You have to look at the future scenario and not worry about what's happening now. Do that too, but still look at and that's why they always ask you, what is your goal in the next 5 years when you apply for a job? What do you see your goals is? What do you see your goals in 10 years? What do you see your goals in 5 years? Okay, right now, we need to know what your goals is in 6 months.
That's the short time that we on. Exactly. All right, Miss Foxie, what we're going to do is wrap up because we're coming to the hour point. And I think we hit a lot of great topics. I think if the audience, I would love for you to get in the comment, address some of the things that we have talked about. You know, I play devil advocate. I want to keep the conversation going, the what if, the could have, and have us, you know, really expand our mind. Miss Roxie is an amazing resource, and I appreciate you coming to the show. You are welcome anytime to, you know, just express how you feel and honestly bring the conversation up to another level. So your expertise is needed and is loved here, and I appreciate you.
And look, if you have any of your followers want to ask any questions and you stop by, you know how to contact me. Ask me. I will give you the information that you need to reply to them so they know. I don't want nobody out here. It's not so much that I'm a know-it-all, but I do a lot of research because right now I'm retired and I do a lot of research. So this administration affects me too as a retiree. So I have to do my research to see where I stand for my survival. And believe it or not, you all, I was thinking about relocating either to North Carolina or moving to Dolton. So I Because if I come to Dolton, I want to sit down with the trustees and sit down and see what my expertise can help with them. Because I'm not putting nobody down.
I'm down for that.
I don't want to put nobody down.
This out there too. Come buy some of them tax lien houses. So with that goes to say, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna see if we can do it once a month or whatever. If we have any residents that want to come and you have expertise that you think you can add to the conversation, or not a typical expertise, but whatever. That's what we want here. So I'm gonna say bye on that note. Miss Roxie, I'm gonna let you say bye to the audience, and we're gonna see them next time.
Okay, look, everybody, I love you. I have love in my heart for everyone. If you want to ask me anything, you're concerned about anything, even in your own life, just hit my daughter up. Hit her up for me. Let her know that you have these concerns. I don't mind talking with you. I'm approachable. I'm not one of those that sit back and I'm all that and this and that. No, I'm down to earth because I've been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. Believe it or not, I got the whole damn outfit.
I love you. That's why I love my mama. With that goes to say, her information will be at the bottom. You can email her or you can talk to me and we'll bring her up here. You have a beautiful Sunday, Levi family. Thank you for being here with
Levi family, I love you.
I could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long.
I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. You know, live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't know.
Boys, I swear, I think I figured it out. You know why they don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along? You know why? Because we'd be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we would shut shit down.
Leader, they want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.